Imagine waking up tomorrow and seeing one headline on every screen around the world. The United States and China are now at war. Most people picture aircraft carriers, fighter jets, and massive explosions. But what if I told you that the first shots might not even be fired with bullets? Because the first 24 hours of a war between the United States and China could begin in a way most people never expect. And what happens during those first hours could determine the future of the entire Pacific. Let's start at hour zero. The crisis begins somewhere in the Pacific, most likely around Taiwan. For months, tensions have been rising. Military exercises become more aggressive. Ships move closer. Aircraft fly dangerous patrol routes. Then, suddenly, a single incident changes everything. No one knows whether it was intentional or accidental. But within minutes, both governments are forced to make decisions. And that is where the real danger begins. Most people think missiles would launch immediately. In reality, the first battlefield would likely be digital. Before the public fully understands what is happening, cyberattacks could strike critical systems. Military networks become targets. Communication systems are disrupted. Radar stations experience unusual failures. Financial institutions may face massive pressure. The goal is simple: blind the opponent before the first major military move begins. And while this invisible battle is unfolding, something even bigger is happening behind the scenes. Thousands of military personnel are already moving. Aircraft that looked harmless yesterday suddenly become part of a war plan. Submarines disappear beneath the Pacific. Strategic bombers prepare for missions. Satellite operators watch every movement from space. The world still doesn't know the full picture, but military leaders do, and they know time is running out. Around the 6th hour, the pressure becomes overwhelming. Both sides fear one thing more than anything else: being too late. Because in modern warfare, the side that reacts second may lose critical advantages forever. This creates an extremely dangerous situation. Each side starts assuming the worst. Every radar contact looks suspicious. Every movement appears threatening. Every delay feels risky, and that fear can trigger decisions that are impossible to reverse. Now the question becomes, will the conflict stay limited, or will it expand across the Pacific? As the first day continues, military commanders focus on key locations: air bases, naval facilities, supply routes, communication centers. Whoever controls these assets gains enormous advantages. But there is a problem. Neither side can be completely certain about what the other is planning, and uncertainty is one of the most powerful forces in war. Imagine trying to play chess while half the board is hidden. That is what military planners could face during these crucial hours. Meanwhile, governments around the world are watching closely. Allies begin emergency meetings. Financial markets react instantly. Oil prices jump. Shipping companies reassess routes. Global supply chains face immediate disruption. Remember, nearly everything in the modern economy depends on stability in international trade, and much of that trade passes through the Pacific. Suddenly, a regional conflict no longer feels regional. Its effects begin spreading across the entire planet. By hour 12, another problem emerges: information warfare. Social media becomes flooded with claims, videos, and reports. Some are real, some are completely false. Millions of people struggle to understand what is actually happening. Confusion becomes a weapon. Fear becomes a weapon. Even uncertainty itself becomes a weapon. And while the public debates what is true, military operations continue to accelerate. More aircraft enter the sky. more ships change course, more forces move into position. The pace keeps increasing. Then comes one of the most dangerous moments of the entire first day, the possibility of miscalculation. History shows that wars often expand, not because leaders want them to, but because events move faster than anyone can control. A misunderstood signal, a mistaken identification, a rushed decision. Any one of these could dramatically change the conflict, and nobody knows where the next escalation point might appear. Now we reach the final hours of the first day. The world has spent 24 hours watching the most powerful military rivalry on Earth transform into open conflict. Yet one critical question remains unanswered. What happens next? Because the first day is not about winning. The first day is about positioning. Both sides are trying to gain advantages that could shape everything that follows. The decisions made during these hours may influence weeks, months, or even years of conflict. And that is why military analysts pay so much attention to the opening phase of any war. Not because the outcome is decided immediately, but because the foundations of that outcome are often built before most people even understand what is happening. The truly frightening part is that no one can predict exactly how such a conflict would unfold. Every scenario contains uncertainty. Every plan contains risks. Every decision carries consequences. And in a confrontation involving two global powers, those consequences could affect billions of people around the world. So the next time you hear discussions about tensions in the Pacific, remember this: the first 24 hours would not simply be about missiles, ships, or aircraft. They would be about information, uncertainty, speed, and decisions made under immense pressure. And those decisions could shape the future of the world long before most people realize what has begun.